Every thought you think is creating your future. Every word you speak is programming your subconscious mind. And every I am statement is not just a phrase, it is a declaration of identity. The words I am hold creative power, not because of some mystical superstition, but because they signal the brain and body to begin embodying a new state of being. You are not affirming something outside of you. You are commanding your biology, your energy, and your destiny to come into alignment with a higher version of yourself. When you say, I am powerful, I am healed, or I am abundant, you are not describing a current condition. You are declaring a new future. In the early morning, when your brain is in a theta state, slower than the busy beta waves of waking consciousness, but faster than deep delta sleep, you are in a doorway between the conscious and the subconscious mind. This is the window of greatest suggestibility. It's in this narrow gap between sleep and wakefulness that the mind is most open to change. In this moment, your conscious declarations can pass more freely into the subconscious programming that governs 95% of your behavior. That's why morning affirmations, when repeated with intention, become more than motivational slogans. They become neurological instructions. When you speak an affirmation with presence, your neocortex, the thinking brain, hears it and begins to light up circuits in alignment with that thought. The brain does not know the difference between a real experience in the outer world and an internally generated experience that is vividly imagined. When you affirm, I am confident, your brain searches its existing networks and memories to validate or reject that statement. If you persistently repeat it, especially with emotional conviction, you override the old story and begin installing a new belief system. Over time, this process wires new synaptic connections, and with continued focus, those connections strengthen, forming a new internal model of self. The subconscious mind, unlike the analytical mind, does not judge or filter. It does not care whether a statement is true or false. It accepts repeated instruction and uses it as a blueprint to influence behaviors, emotions, and biological functions. That's why what you affirm consistently becomes what you live. The more you say, I am healthy, the more your subconscious mind begins to seek out that reality, to believe it, and to trigger physiological responses aligned with wellness. Hormones shift, immune markers respond, neural chemistry adapts. You begin to experience, in small but measurable ways, the effects of a new internal alignment. Affirmations are a tool for conscious creators. Every time you choose your words deliberately, you are choosing your identity. You are participating in your evolution. You are becoming aware of your inner environment and how it shapes your outer world. The power of I am statements lies not in wishful thinking, but in deliberate conditioning. You are reprogramming the operating system of your mind, replacing fear with empowerment, scarcity with abundance, and self-judgment with self-love. To create a new future, you must become aware of the old programming that is running by default. Most people wake up and begin thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and taking the same actions that are aligned with their past self. These automatic patterns are deeply embedded in their identity. Affirmations disrupt this automation. They insert conscious intention into the unconscious loop. They introduce a new possibility and begin to collapse old neurological patterns that are no longer serving your growth. When you say, I am worthy, you are not waiting for the world to prove it to you. You are deciding to feel it before any external condition validates it. This is a radical act of self-creation. You're choosing to become the cause, not the effect. You're using the language of the future instead of the language of the past. And that language carries a frequency, a vibrational signature that informs the field around you. Thoughts are electrical. Emotions are magnetic. Together, they project a signal into the quantum field. That signal acts like a tuning fork, drawing to you experiences, people, and opportunities that match the emotional and energetic tone of your affirmations. Affirming, I am successful, while embodying the elevated emotion of success causes coherence in your heart and brain. That coherence creates a state of energetic alignment, a field of resonance that starts to magnetize new outcomes. This is not about faking reality. It's about shifting your internal state so that the external world begins to mirror your inner transformation. It's not magic, it's biology. It's not superstition, it's neuroscience. You're teaching your body what your future feels like, and as you do, you begin to feel whole before the healing, abundant before the wealth, love before the relationship. You begin to live as if your desired reality is already true. And in that state of being, the gap between who you were and who you are becoming begins to close. The human brain is not hardwired to remain the same for life. It is plastic, adaptable, and capable of change across every stage of our existence. This neuroplasticity is the scientific foundation behind affirmations, especially when practiced intentionally and consistently each morning. To change your life, you must first change your mind, and this change is not abstract. It involves actual rewiring of neural circuits and a physiological shift in the way your body responds to your thoughts, emotions, and environment. Affirmations, when repeated with conscious awareness and emotional intensity, become the tools that begin to reprogram the mind and recondition the body. Each morning, as you wake from sleep, your brain transitions from the slow delta waves of deep rest into the more suggestible theta and alpha states. These are the states in which the analytical mind is less dominant and the subconscious is more open to receiving new information. In this window, the repetition of affirmations acts as a form of directed neuroplasticity. You are using your conscious mind to install new circuits that reflect who you want to become, not who you've been conditioned to believe you are. The affirmation, "I am enough," not just a phrase, it becomes a neural signal, a message to the brain that begins the process of pruning away self, defeating thoughts and wiring in new possibilities. The brain works through repetition and emotion. Thoughts that are repeated frequently, especially those attached to strong emotions, create patterns of neural firing. Neurons that fire together wire together. So when you wake up and immediately affirm, "I am grateful for this life," and you feel the emotion of gratitude as if the affirmation were already real, your brain records this new combination of thought and feeling. Over time, this repetition builds new synaptic connections and begins to overwrite the programs of the past. This is how new mindsets are formed, not through force, but through consistent practice paired with feeling. The body, which has been conditioned over years to respond to certain habitual emotional states, like fear, guilt, worry, or unworthiness, initially resists change. The body becomes the unconscious mind, addicted to the familiar chemical states of survival. But morning affirmations practiced daily begin to interrupt that addiction. When you speak affirmations that carry elevated emotions, such as love, abundance, empowerment, or joy, you signal to the body that a new reality is present. The body may protest at first. It may want to return to the emotional baseline it knows, but through daily repetition, you begin to recondition it. You teach the body to feel what the mind is imagining. This reconditioning is critical. You are not just thinking differently, you are being differently. You are training the body to respond to a new mind, to a future instead of a past. This process moves your transformation from the realm of thought into the realm of embodiment, saying, "I am calm and centered," while feeling that calmness trains the nervous system to access that state more easily. It begins to shift your autonomic responses. Heart rate variability improves. Stress hormones reduce. The biochemical environment of the body changes in accordance with the new emotional state that the affirmation evokes. You must also understand that the subconscious mind does not change from one powerful affirmation alone. It changes from consistency. It changes from reinforcement. When you wake up every morning and affirm who you are becoming, you're rehearsing that version of yourself mentally. The more you mentally rehearse a new way of being, the more familiar it becomes. And eventually, what was once unfamiliar, confidence, worthiness, abundance, becomes your new normal. Your brain no longer defaults to the neural architecture of lack or fear. It begins to map new territories, creating mental models that support your desired identity. Rewiring the brain and reconditioning the body require coherence between thought and feeling. Thinking, I am successful, while feeling like a failure sends a mixed signal. But thinking, I am successful, while feeling the joy and pride of success brings alignment between your cognitive intention and your emotional state. This alignment is what creates lasting change. It's not enough to think differently. You must also feel differently. And as you sustain that elevated emotional state, you draw your body into the future, creating an internal state that matches the vision you hold in your mind. Your morning practice is where this transformation takes root. It's where you plant the seeds of your future identity. As you affirm and embody a new self day after day, your old self begins to lose its grip. The familiar emotions that once defined you begin to fade. You no longer feel the same pull to your past reactions. Instead, you respond to life from a place of creation, not reaction. The brain adapts to this shift. The body follows. You are no longer living from memorized patterns. You are designing new ones. And with every repeated affirmation, every elevated emotion, you are anchoring a new reality into your biology. To create a new reality, thinking alone is not enough. Thought is the language of the brain, but emotion is the language of the body. When you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you begin to change not only your mind, but your entire state of being. This is the secret to personal transformation. Not merely repeating affirmations intellectually, but emotionally embodying them. Elevated emotions like love, gratitude, joy, freedom, and empowerment are not reactions to external circumstances. They are tools of internal transformation. They are energetic frequencies that carry information into the body and signal the future to begin now. When you say an affirmation such as, I am abundant, and you truly feel the emotion of abundance, not later, not when the bank account changes, but right now, you send a coherent signal to your nervous system and your energy field. That emotional charge gives your thought the fuel it needs to become a new experience. Without emotion, a thought is just an empty signal. With emotion, a thought becomes a magnetic force. The stronger the emotion, the more real the future becomes in your inner world. And because your body is always responding to the way you feel, elevated emotions begin to teach your body what the future feels like before it arrives. This is not imagination, it's biology. The body is continuously eavesdropping on the mind. Every emotion you generate releases a corresponding chemical signature. When you feel inspired, your body releases neurotransmitters and hormones that reinforce vitality and health. When you feel gratitude, oxytocin is released, enhancing connection and healing. The chemistry of elevated emotions differs dramatically from the stress hormones of survival. In states of fear, anger, or unworthiness, the body prepares to protect itself. It shifts into a defensive posture, limiting growth, repair, and creativity. But in elevated emotional states, the body opens up. It enters a state of homeostasis. The immune system strengthens. The heart and brain move into coherence. This is the physiological environment in which change and healing become not only possible, but inevitable. Most people wait for their environment to change before they allow themselves to feel different. They believe they need a reason to feel joy or success or love. But this creates a cycle of reactivity and dependence. It makes the external world the master of their internal state. The moment you understand that you can generate elevated emotions independently of circumstances, you take your power back. You begin to live from the inside out. You realize that emotion does not have to follow experience. Experience can follow emotion. By feeling now how you want to feel in your future, you begin to draw that future to you. Your body believes it is already happening. Your subconscious mind accepts it as truth, and the field around you begins to respond. This is why elevated emotions are catalysts. They accelerate the process of change. They move information from the conscious mind into the body. When you say, I am healed, and you feel the emotion of vitality, strength, and wholeness, you are no longer hoping for healing. You are becoming it. You are signaling your genes in new ways, turning on beneficial epigenetic information and turning off the genes of stress and disease. The body cannot help but begin to match the vibration you are sending. The cells listen to chemical messengers of your emotional state. And when those messengers carry the energy of elevated emotions, the cells respond with growth, repair, and rejuvenation. Emotion also anchors your focus. The stronger the emotional signature of an affirmation, the more likely it is to imprint in the brain and body. Think of emotion as a highlighter for the subconscious. The affirmations that are felt most deeply are the ones that get stored most powerfully. The subconscious is shaped through repetition and intensity. Morning is the perfect time to bring intensity to your affirmations through feeling. When you wake up, your mind is less cluttered, your heart is more open, and your connection to your inner world is more direct. By consciously cultivating elevated emotions during your affirmation practice, you are leveraging this open state to install new programs of empowerment and possibility. You are not using elevated emotions to escape reality. You are using them to sculpt reality. You are lifting your body out of the chemical residue of the past and teaching it a new way to be. You are telling your nervous system that you are safe, that you are loved, that you are free. And from that inner safety and coherence, your external reality begins to mirror your internal transformation. Affirmations backed by elevated emotions create a state of being that is energetically aligned with the future you are choosing. You are no longer chasing healing, success, or love. You are embodying them now. And because you are being them now, you begin to attract the events, people, and opportunities that match that state of being. Emotions are the fuel of transformation. They are not just feelings to be observed, they are energies to be directed. When used consciously, they lift you out of the habitual patterns of your past self and into the vibrational frequency of your future self. They raise your energy, change your brain chemistry, alter your heart rhythms, and activate the intelligence of your body. Affirmations spoken from the mind are information. Affirmations felt in the heart are transformation. The moment you elevate your emotion is the moment your future becomes more real than your past. Personal transformation does not happen by simply changing what you do. It happens by changing who you are being. Most people live each day unconsciously repeating their past. They wake up in the morning and immediately think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, perform the same actions, and thereby reaffirm the same identity. That identity is built from a combination of memories, emotional patterns, and deeply embedded habits that have been rehearsed so often they become automatic. This is the old self, predictable, familiar, and anchored in the past. To create a new life, to step into a future that is different from the past, one must break free from this deeply conditioned identity. The old self is not just a set of thoughts. It is a neurochemical and energetic pattern that is memorized in the body. Every emotion you've felt repeatedly, every thought you've clung to, every behavior you've performed over and over has created a neural network in the brain and a biochemical signature in the body. The body becomes the record of the past, a subconscious mind operating on programs that no longer serve your growth. When you begin a morning affirmation practice, you are not just speaking words, you are disrupting that program. You are intervening in a loop that has been running automatically, often for years. Affirmations serve as conscious declarations of a new self. But for them to be effective, you must first recognize what the old self sounds like, feels like, and acts like. You must become so aware of the unconscious patterns that when they show up, you no longer act them out. You observe them. The moment you become aware is the moment you have the power to choose something different. When you declare, "I am worthy," you are often challenging a belief that says, "I am not enough." That old belief has been reinforced through years of emotional repetition. But with each new affirmation, repeated with intention and emotional alignment, you begin to install a new narrative into your nervous system. To break free from the old self, you must step into the unknown. The unknown is uncomfortable precisely because it is unfamiliar. The mind craves the known even when the known creates suffering. That's why transformation requires conscious effort. Saying, "I am successful," means letting go of the identity that has become familiar with struggle or failure. Saying, "I am loved," means releasing the emotional attachments to rejection, abandonment, or shame. These patterns don't dissolve overnight. They resist change because the body is addicted to the emotions of the past. But every time you choose a new affirmation over an old emotional reaction, you weaken the neural network of the past and begin building the future. Morning is the most powerful time to initiate this shift. Upon waking, your mind is between worlds. The veil between conscious and subconscious is thin. This is when you can reprogram the system with greater ease. When you begin your day by affirming a new identity, you are laying down new instructions. The brain starts to form new synaptic connections based on your chosen intention. The body begins to feel a different way. At first, this may feel unnatural, even false, because it contradicts the memorized emotional state you've carried for years. But with consistency, what once felt unfamiliar begins to feel natural. The new self begins to gain momentum. You must be willing to let go of the emotional addictions that keep you tied to the old identity. Feelings like resentment, guilt, fear, and unworthiness are not just emotions, they are signatures of the past self. The longer you stay in them, the more you keep broadcasting the same signal into the field, and the more life gives you reasons to confirm those emotions. The only way out is through conscious interruption. When you notice an old emotion rising, you can pause, take a breath, and choose a new affirmation. You can say, "I am at peace," even when your mind wants to react. In that moment, you are taking your power back. You are reconditioning your body to respond to a new mind. Every affirmation is a confrontation with the old self and an invitation to a new one. It is a declaration that says, "I will no longer live by the emotions of my history." To break free, you must become greater than your environment, greater than your circumstances, and greater than your body's impulses to return to the familiar. This takes repetition, awareness, and emotional engagement. The body must be retrained to feel safe in the unknown, to feel alive in the unfamiliar. That is why elevated emotions are essential. When you feel empowered while affirming a new identity, you are teaching the body that the future is more compelling than the past. This work is not passive. You are rehearsing a new version of you. You are firing and wiring new neural circuits. You are signaling genes in new ways. You are changing your electromagnetic field. The past self does not dissolve through logic. It dissolves through new experiences. And those experiences begin internally through the rehearsal of new thoughts, feelings, and intentions. The person who says, "I am free," while feeling the emotion of liberation, is no longer trapped in the memory of old wounds. They are stepping into a new timeline, one where the old story no longer has authority. The universe is not a fixed, mechanical system responding only to physical actions. At its most fundamental level, it is composed of energy, vibration, and frequency. This is the quantum field, a vast, invisible realm of infinite potential where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Every thought you think and every emotion you feel broadcasts a signal into this field, influencing the reality that begins to unfold in your life. You are not separate from this field. You are immersed in it, connected to it, and constantly interacting with it through your inner state of being. The quantum field does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. This is why intention is so powerful. Intention is more than a wish. It is a clear, focused directive that aligns the energy of the mind and the emotion of the heart toward a specific outcome. When you set an intention and align it with elevated emotions, you begin to collapse infinite potentialities into actual experiences. You are selecting from the quantum field the version of reality that matches your inner state. If your internal signal is one of lack, fear, or doubt, you will continue to draw experiences that validate those states. But if your signal is one of abundance, gratitude, and coherence, then you magnetize opportunities, people, and events that are equal to that frequency. Each morning, as you rise from sleep, you are given a fresh opportunity to influence this field. In those early hours, your brain waves are moving through theta and alpha states, ideal for programming the subconscious and accessing the quantum field. This is where your affirmations and intentions gain the most momentum, by clearly defining who you choose to be through I am statements, and feeling the emotional energy of already being that version of yourself. You begin to send a new signature into the field. That signature is not just a thought. It is an electromagnetic broadcast that extends beyond your physical body. Your thoughts create an electrical charge. Your emotions create a magnetic field. Together, they form the electromagnetic signature of your state of being. When this signature is coherent, when your thoughts and feelings are in alignment, you become a powerful transmitter of possibility. You no longer send mixed signals of desire and doubt, hope and fear. You send a clear, unwavering broadcast into the quantum field. This is the energy that begins to organize matter, attract synchronicities, and reshape your life from the inside out. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are creating it. To work with the quantum field is to understand that cause and effect are not always linear. In the classical world, we act and then wait for a result. In the quantum world, we become the result first. You do not wait to be healed to feel whole. You feel whole to create healing. You do not wait to succeed to feel successful. You feel successful now to attract the evidence of success. This reversal of cause and effect is the essence of intentional creation. When your body experiences the elevated emotion of the desired outcome before it happens, the subconscious accepts that outcome as reality, and the field begins to respond. It is essential to make your intentions specific and emotionally charged. The more clearly you define your desired self, what it looks like, feels like, thinks like, the more vivid your signal becomes. Vague affirmations generate vague outcomes. But when you say, I am radiantly healthy, filled with vitality and peace, and you embody that state emotionally, your body and the field begin to synchronize with that vision. Your biology adapts. Your brain reorganizes. Your actions naturally align with that version of you. The universe, through the quantum field, begins to mirror that inner reality through external events. This process requires trust. You must trust the intelligence of the field more than the logic of your senses. Your current circumstances are the result of past thoughts and emotions. They are echoes of your old state of being. But your new reality is already forming in the invisible, responding to your present signal. If you return to doubt, frustration, or impatience, you collapse that new reality back into potential. But if you remain anchored in the elevated state, if you continue to affirm and intend from a place of coherence, the momentum builds. The quantum field begins to organize itself in alignment with your intention, drawing the right people, opportunities, and experiences into your path. Intention is not about forcing outcomes. It is about becoming the vibrational match to what you desire. When you embody the energy of love, abundance, healing, or success, you enter a new timeline where those outcomes are natural consequences of your being. You are not wishing for change. You are living as if the change has already occurred. The quantum field, responding to that elevated and coherent energy, cannot help but bring you the experiences that confirm your new identity. This is not philosophy, it is energy. It is consciousness interacting with the field of infinite potential. Morning affirmations serve as daily anchors to this creative process. They are the tools through which you repeatedly choose a new reality, reaffirm your alignment with the field, and bring the invisible into form. As you combine thought with intention, and intention with emotion, you participate in the dance of creation. You are no longer waiting for life to happen. you are becoming the cause of it. Every I am declaration, when infused with clarity and elevated energy, becomes a command to the field, a call to a future already waiting to be claimed. In every moment, you are standing at the threshold of infinite potential, the power to heal, to prosper, to love, and to live a life of true purpose does not lie somewhere outside of you. It exists within your own consciousness. Through the deliberate practice of morning affirmations, elevated emotions, clear intentions, and the conscious interruption of old patterns, you begin to rewire your brain, retrain your body, and reshape your energy. You stop living as a consequence of your past and begin living as a creator of your future. When you align your inner world with the reality you choose to experience, emotionally, energetically, and mentally, you become the cause, not the effect. This is how change becomes not only possible but inevitable. The person you wish to become is not in the distance. It is already within you, waiting to be remembered, rehearsed, and revealed